A lot of people on the left were giving Ann Coulter flack because she said that the shooters in Kansas City were likely not white. And the reason why? They did not release the information on the shooters and they were withholding it. Many people in media were saying, well, we can't release the information on these alleged shooters because they're minors. Except Kyle Rittenhouse, they put his information out right away. I don't want to give Ann Coulter credit for this. I'll give her credit for saying it on Bill Maher's show, and they mocked her for it. We are now learning more information about the alleged gunman, why he did it, what happened, and the others involved. And yes, it is a black man. The issue here is we already had photos of people being arrested at the shooting. Like, we knew that it was likely young black men who were the likely suspects alleged to have started this shooting. The reason why, according to latest news reports, they got looked at wrong. I mean, that's it. So here's what happens. Ann Coulter goes on Bill Maher and they say, we don't know who the shooters are. And she says, well, we know it's not a white man because if it was, they'd release that information. Bill Maher says, okay, fine, whatever. You have special powers. It's remarkable to me how stupid Bill Maher is. And, this is probably why he won't come on the show. Whatever. I'm sorry. It's just a reality. This is, Bill Maher represents the surface level of first layer thinkers. I mean, that's all he is. He doesn't Google search. He doesn't research. He doesn't do any research. Exemplified by when Dennis Prager was on his show and mentioned the claim by the far left that had been going on for like a decade that men could menstruate. And Bill Maher laughed. And the whole crowd like, oh, we're so smart. No, you made that up. Despite the fact that for years, leftist publications, mainstream publications, and universities had been making the claim. They are so out of touch. Now, Ann Coulter said this. And people on the left are acting like it's the first time it's ever been said. My friends, there has been an ongoing meme for a very long time about the identity of criminals being buried if they don't fit the narrative. Ann Coulter pointed out what many people had already been discussing for a very long time. And I don't think it's an idea she came up with. It's an observation basically everybody had. You had a guy ram a bunch of Christmas goers in Waukesha. I believe it was Christmas, right? And they kept putting in reports a car hit people. A car did it. That's the game they play. Let me read for you the news. And then we'll talk about the modern political circumstance pertaining to the likes of modern liberals, Bill Maher, and why this country is in trouble. A lot of reasons, I know. But here's the news. Just pulled a gun out and started shooting. Kansas City parade murderer Lindell May's confession is revealed in court papers, with suspect 23 previously convicted of flashing gun during disputed basketball court. Now, this guy's not even a minor. Mays, 23, and Dominic Miller, 18, are facing charges including murder in the second degree, armed criminal action, and unlawful use of a weapon. They kept saying, well, they're juveniles, they're minors, we can't release their information. This guy's 23 years old. Now he's alleged. I guess they're saying he confessed in court documents. Here he is. Yo, it's wild. One guy, this might be him, got shot in the face. Here's the story. Wait till you see what it was all about. They say it was a personal dispute, gang related. Nope. None of that. Homie was walking and some guy said, what you looking at? He said, what you looking at? What you looking at? What you looking at? And he pulled his gun out. For real. That's the story. And then once he pulled his gun out, they started shooting at each other wildly into the crowd of all these people. A detective is claiming that alleged Kansas City gunman Lindell Mays confessed to opening fire at the Chiefs Super Bowl celebration last week, as it's been revealed that the suspect has a prior gun conviction. These two, there's also, they say Mays, 23, and Dominic Miller are facing charges, armed criminal action, and unlawful use of a weapon. These two individuals are not the two juveniles that had been charged with gun-related offenses and resisting arrest. Court documents have now revealed that Mays has brazenly confessed to the shooting, which left one woman dead, and admitted to the senselessness. Spiking wrote that it all began when four men approached Mays and asked the 23-year-old what he was looking at. They began arguing about why they were staring at each other. Prosecutors allege that Mays pulled his gun first during an argument, which resulted in others pulling firearms, including Miller. Spiking added that a Glock 9mm handgun reportedly stolen from a Kansas City location was found near Mays. Despite Mays' sister saying her brother was not a monster and just protecting her, Mays has a prior conviction for trying to end a fight with a gun. I want to point something out. I hear a lot from a lot of people, they say illegal possession of a firearm. No. The only way a possession of a firearm can be illegal is if somebody was found through due process to be ineligible to have a gun. The inverse due process that they're trying to create, I don't buy. That is, if you want a gun, you have to go through due process to get it. That's not how it works. You're entitled to keep and bear arms. I recommend everyone follow the laws of their state, and we challenge these because we had unconstitutional grounds and we're winning tremendously. But my point is, I don't buy none of that. This guy had a previous conviction for unlawful possession of a firearm. Was that it? You found him with a gun? Second Amendment. I get the law. I get he broke it. I'm saying I don't agree with the morality and the principle of the issue. Now, if someone committed a crime and then through due process had their rights suspended, that I agree with. I think it should be fixed, however. It should be made better. So here's the guy. Turns out it is a young black man who was upset that people were asking why he was looking at them, and so he opened fire. And then we have this famous clip from just a couple days ago. Ann Coulter shocks Bill Maher as she says, if Super Bowl parade shooters were white, we'd know their identities by now. Let's see. Let's see if the Daily Mail has the clip here. They do. So let's play the clip for you.
Who did this shooting, by the way? The Super Bowl shooting?
We have some idea.
What?
If it were a white man shooting, we'd know.
Well, we don't know. But they haven't.
That's how we know it's not a white man. I can tell you that much.
Do you think they're repressing that reporting?
They wouldn't tell us about the transgender woman that shot up the Christian school for what, like a year? San Bernardino out here. Remember the crazy terrorist Muslims? That's when I first noticed, they're not telling us who it is. It's not a white male. The longer they go without telling you, it's not a white male.
Okay, well, we don't, for this one, for right now, as of Friday night, February 16th.
We know.
We don't officially know. Okay, you have special powers.
You have special powers. Wow, Bill, Ann Coulter has the ability to read the news and then make logical conclusions. To be fair, he's saying we don't officially know. And that was true. That was true. But then to snarkily go on and say, you have special powers. Look, if Ann Coulter was sitting here with me and said, well, if it was a white man, they'd have reported, I'd say, seems to be the case, doesn't it? When you get a shooting and it's a white man, the news drops immediately. In fact, when it came to Kyle Rittenhouse, not only did they release the name of a minor, he was 17, they falsely claimed he shot black people. He did not. Here we go. Conservative commentator Ann Coulter told HBO's Bill Maher that if the shooter at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade were white males, we'd know their identities by now. 2 teenagers have been charged as juveniles. We know that. Coulter told Maher and Van Jones on Real Time. This is why I like, look, there are people who have asked me to go on Real Time with Bill Maher. I'm not saying it's Bill Maher. I'm saying people who have worked with him and who know him personally are like, you got to go on that show. And I'm like, no, I don't want to sit in a room with someone who is as arrogant and ignorant as Bill Maher on his show, where they will seek to produce out of context clips to exacerbate the problem of fake news. I don't know why anyone would do that. Now, that being said, his Club Random, I think it's called, podcast, yes, absolutely. Bill Maher and I can sit down in chairs and have a conversation outside of his produced, manufactured fake news show. I want to stress this again. Bill Maher's show is fake news. Perhaps it's always been. I used to watch it a lot when I was a teenager. Back in the day. I couldn't watch it now because the dude doesn't read. It's just absolutely remarkable. I don't know when that happened or why it happened, but him and Jon Stewart, they read very little. Jon Stewart does a better job, to be completely honest. Coulter told Maher and fellow guests, blah, blah, blah. We'd know. We have some idea, Coulter responded. If it were a white man, we'd know. And then Maher tried to remind Maher, when Maher tried to remind Maher, you mean Coulter, that the official identities remain uncertain, she said, that's how we know it's not a white man, I can tell you that. He then questioned whether they were suppressing that reporting. Duh! Of course they were! Come on. Maher did remind the audience that it's still not officially known, but Coulter hit her point one more time. We know. No, it's fair. We don't officially know the names of the shooters. I'll give Bill Maher credit for that. We now do know. It was a guy who got mad. He was being looked at. I'm not kidding. I mean, well, I shouldn't say we know. It's alleged in court documents, to be fair. But it means Ann Coulter was right. If the reporting is correct, this guy confessed. Ann Coulter was right. We have this story from the Post Millennial. Court documents show the firearm used was stolen, and we now have reporting that they set up a GoFundMe for the shooter to raise money for him. Amazing. Well, let's talk about our, is this the story right here? Yeah, mom of Super Bowl parade shooting suspect launches GoFundMe to help him during tragic time. May's mother, Tennille Burnside, set up the fundraiser for her 23-year-old son who remains hospitalized after the shooting and is one of the suspects. The fundraiser, which has since been deleted, read he is in the ICU fighting for recovery from several surgeries, going from the Chiefs Super Bowl celebration with his older sister. Getting shot multiple times at the time was meant to bring, getting shot multiple times at a time that was meant to bring so much joy has brought pain and sadness to all that was attending. It continued. $100 was raised prior to being charged on Tuesday. I want to stress this again. They walked up to the guy. What you looking at? What you looking at? They got into an argument over who was looking at whom, and for that, they killed people. I bring you now back in time to one of the greatest stories in fake news. Dennis Prager derails Bill Maher segment on Trump's lies into discussion of menstruating men. Let's see if we can play this clip.
By saying truth is not a left-wing value when Donald Trump has lied over 13,000. Dennis, how can you justify saying truth is not a left-wing value when Donald Trump has lied over 13,000 times since taking office? He does lie. You would agree with that?
He does.
Okay.
He certainly
a
does.
level that no one else has ever lied.
No, that I would not say. You see,
No?
wait. First of all,
What about like when he makes up a phone call? Like he
wait.
said he talked to Mitch McConnell,
Okay.
and Mitch McConnell said we never had a conversation.
Okay.
Has every president lied like that?
so allow me to explain my comment.
Okay.
All right. First of all, Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not right-wing or conservative. Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Okay. The left wing.
What does that mean?
The left wing. I'll tell you what it means.
nothing.
I'll tell you what it means.
It means nothing.
The left wing is infinitely larger than one person. I don't
Yes.
choose one left wing person who tells a lie. The left wing says, I'll give you gigantic lies, that the United States is a racist country. This is a lie. This is a gargantuan lie. This is the least racist, multicultural, multi-ethnic country in the history of the world.
Dennis Prager, 100% right. It's laughable to think otherwise. These people have never left their bubbles. Go to Japan. Yo.
That these people believe it is proof to me about how effective lying can be. This is an unbelievably non-racist country. Have you people been to Asia? Do you people know that the Japanese did not allow one Vietnamese boat person into Japan because they're not Japanese? We allowed them into America.
What is that? We're better than the Japanese.
No, we're better than everyone.
Dumb argument.
We are less racist than any country with many races.
Okay,
it is a lie.
But we could still have some
that
racism
have ever been documented.
Of course there's I'm a Jew.
Okay.
There are anti-Semites in America. It is a giant lie that America is anti-Semitic. I taught Jewish history at Brooklyn College. I know it. I wrote 2 books on Judaism. Yes. This is the least anti-Semitic country Jews have ever lived in.
This is an amazing segment by Dennis Prager that I am glad we are getting into in this because this is fantastic.
To say America is anti-Semitic is a lie. To say it is racist is a lie. These are giant left-wing lies.
We're talking about degrees.
To say that men can menstruate is a lie, and that is what is said.
And here's Bill Maher's arrogance and ignorance, smugness, and the problem with the plastic people of the Democratic Party and the NPC.
Wait, where did that?
You never heard it, right? Okay, check it out, folks. Check it out. Anyone who says a man cannot menstruate is considered transphobic.
I missed this whole story.
You did? I did.
You missed this whole story. Bill, you miss a lot of stories. Here's the Daily Beast from 2017, 2 years before Dennis Prager said this on his show. Yes, men can have periods and we need to talk about them. There's a big story right now where a high school kid tore down a tampon dispenser in a men's room. Not only has this been going on since well before 2017, the original article was published in 2016. It was only updated in 2017, so I'm sorry. It's actually from 3 years before Dennis Prager went on Bill Maher's show. Bill is so uninformed, like most Democrats, and we share votes with these people. Look, man, Dennis Prager giving this very reasonable statement. Donald Trump does lie, but Donald Trump's one guy. He's not the right. He's not a conservative. He's just Donald Trump. And Bill Maher says, what does that mean? It means Donald Trump does not represent every single conservative. And what Donald Trump says is not indicative of what every single conservative, libertarian, or right-wing person says.
Tell me where you're getting this.
Just Google it. Can men menstruate?
Who is saying this? You're talking about a very small percentage.
Oh, really? Then how do you allow men, biological men, to run against women in the races in Connecticut and set all the high school records?
Okay, but that's...
they're called men.
No.
The Nation magazine said they're women.
Okay, but I would agree with you on that. The way you framed it is nonsense.
I framed it perfectly accurately.
No, you didn't. What you're talking about is, yes, someone who is transgendered, was a man, now claims to be a woman, is a woman, is beating the dog shit out of other women in the race because, of course, they have more muscle mass. And even Martina Navratilova came out and said, this is ridiculous. You might as well not have women's sport.
And here we are 5 years later, and it's only gotten worse. How about that?
This is a far cry from saying men can menstruate.
I agree.
But that's not where anyone went with that, but you.
Not true.
Okay.
At the University of Berkeley men's room, tampons are given out. Check it out. UC Berkeley men's rooms have tampon dispensers.
Would you say,
that's
Dennis,
probably because men are pussy whipped and their girlfriend said, go get me a tampon. That's why.
It's remarkable. Remarkable. This is the state of liberal commentary. From facilities.berkeley.edu, menstrual equity pilot project in all high-trafficked bathrooms, requiring 3 dispensers in every building in a women's, men's, and gender-neutral bathroom. Absolutely remarkable how stupid these people are.
Much more logical. Okay, all right. Moving on to the next. Dennis, I remember you in the old show. You were a little more reasonable.
What did I say that wasn't unreasonable?
You said that we think that men menstruate and no one does. Had you heard about it?
I'm a doctor. I missed that one, I confess.
This is one of the premier reporters. He knows everything.
Clowns. This is the issue with Real Time with Bill Maher. I don't even know why people go on the show. Ann Coulter certainly has to know what to expect when she goes on a show with an audience of people who are not smart enough to do a Google search. Imagine sitting in the audience. You got your phone. Dennis Prager says it, and you go, oh, I wonder what that's about. Whoa, he's right. And then you're going to sit there as everyone's hooting and laughing. You'd be like, this is weird. That's just not true. Jon Stewart, I did that segment yesterday, where he mocked Tucker Carlson for agreeing with the idea that Adolf Hitler invaded Poland to seize back Danzig, which had become the city of Dansk. Like, what? Jon Stewart made fun of him for saying that. So Vladimir Putin said in the interview, Danzig, after World War I, was a free state under the jurisdiction of Poland, and it became Dansk. Several years later, Hitler says he wants this back. It's Germany. And Poland refuses. So Hitler invades. And Tucker goes, of course. That's literally historical precedent. That's literally what happened. For some reason, Jon Stewart was saying Putin claimed it was Poland's fault. What? It's war. And Adolf Hitler was trying to seize back lands they lost in the Treaty of Versailles. And then some, mind you.
Out of the
these people are very. He's a doctor.
Okay.
He's one of the great.
I would make a friendly bet that the LGBTQ normative statement is men can menstruate.
With North America generating most.
I'm glad you think it's okay.
I want to stress this clip we just watched, brilliant from Prager, was 3 years after the Daily Beast had run an article called Yes, Men Can Have Periods and We Need to Talk About Them. This had been a very common mainstream media, corporate press talking point that Bill Maher doesn't know about, did not know about.
Okay, all right, let's talk about another kind of gusher. With North America.
What's happening here?
So what do you do? What do you do on a show like Real Time with Bill Maher? You know what? Maybe I should try and get my way onto a show like that, because what I could do is print out this from the Daily Beast and say, Bill, I need you and your audience to understand something. You mocked viciously Dennis Prager when he correctly pointed out that the left was pushing the idea that men have periods. In fact, an article from the Daily Beast was published 3 years prior. Now, you can argue it's a very small amount of people, but the Daily Beast is a prominent publication, once owned by Newsweek. It is a large corporate press institution that has contributed to much of the reporting that has shaped politics today. That's a fact. You don't got to like them to realize they have an impact. Now, how is it that a 3-year-old story gets brought up on your show and you mock the idea? How could you be so ignorant of basic corporate press news affecting this country? Is it because, honest question, I asked Bill, do you read the news? Of course I read the news. I mean, come on. How could you not understand these things? I mean, I think what you maybe do is you glance at the front page of CNN, but I'm like, do you literally read and fact check or do any kind of research, or do you just have people hand you a sheet of paper with a headline on it? Because I got to tell you, Bill Maher's understanding of the world and politics is no different than like the local carpenter. Sure, they read the news here and there and they hear things from their friends, but they don't deep dive into it or fact check. And here's a guy who's hosting a news and commentary show. It's fake. I think the issue with like Bill Maher and Jon Stewart is that they're retired. You know what I mean? Like, I work a lot. 16-hour days, basically. I get a break for food and exercise. So, I don't know, call it 14 or whatever. But I work morning to night. I get to bed. We wrap up the end of IRL's 11 p.m. I wake up at 7:30 a.m. I'm working from 8 a.m. until 11:30 p.m. every day. And there's a little bit of time in between where I eat food and exercise. And, like health-related stuff. Or like, sometimes running to the bank and filling out paperwork. So, I have my break period. So it's like 14 to 16 hours. I'm reading all the time. There will come a point where I used to work weekends. I used to work 7 days a week, no days off. I got to the point where I'm like, two things. One, I need to take time for myself outside of work because it's everything I do is work, everything I do. But if we want to expand in other areas and not just do YouTube, I need time to go to the bank, form companies, check on buildings, construction. And so it's still work on the weekends, but it's a very different kind. And it's a passion thing. You know what I mean? There will come a point in everyone's life where they decide, I'm going to hire people to do the heavy lifting, and then I'll just, do what little I can to maintain the system. That's Bill Maher. He probably used to watch and read the news all the time, and he was pretty well informed. But now he's old. So he just says, just give me the papers and I'll just talk about whatever. Me, I still wake up every day. I produce this show 100%. I have help from the Timcast crew because they'll post stories and share stories. So sometimes it does help. But overwhelmingly, I'm the one doing the stories. I'm the one turning the cameras on. I'm the one turning the lights on. I'm the one pressing record. I'm the one uploading. I'm the one putting the ads in the YouTube video. I'm the one making the titles. I'm doing all of it. So when I'm reading hundreds of articles every hour, yeah, it's easy to break down where the lies are and what's true and what's not. And often I still get things wrong. The modern default liberal is informed by a man who is 3 years behind the news. 3 years behind. And now look where he is. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see y'all then.